Good morning, everybody. Buenos dias. Thanks for coming down here today. I'm here to talk to you about this organisation here, M-Platform, and how we're working with Mindshare, and really getting a little bit deeper with Marina's presentation there, taking data from insight to application and really transforming media effectiveness for clients. And I was actually really pleased that Marina went first because she introduced some core concepts of being customer-centric and having data to drive insights. So, if I just talk you through what I'm going to run through today, I'm going to introduce M-Platform because it may be a new concept for many of you. You may not have heard too much about M-Platform. Obviously, it's part of GroupM. And I'll try and demystify that for you. Then I want to take you through the process that we undertake with clients and some of the technology platforms that we use to generate these insights. And throughout that, I'll give you some examples of the work that we're doing. I've had to anonymize some client examples, but you will get the feel of the application of that data. So, you know, I do demand a little bit of your attention because this is quite a detailed presentation on some of the technology platforms that we use within M-Platform. So M-Platform launched almost a year ago now, December 2016, and we had quite a bit of press coverage at the time, and the press seemed to focus on the fact that we were unifying and bringing together data assets within WPP. And I think, you know, this is spot on. We did have the need within WPP as a whole to simplify our business and bring together some of the unique data that we had within the group, and really make that accessible and actionable by our clients. So if I was to try and give you a short elevator pitch of what M-Platform is, and I've been, you know, trying to do this for months now, you know, make this short and as succinct as I possibly can, but essentially it's GroupM's proprietary technology suite, and it unifies data for clients. Okay, so it gives that single view of a consumer across devices, and really simplifies that planning process using that data for clients. Now, GroupM is one of the few holding companies to actually build their own technology. And I think that's quite a unique position for us to have in the market. You know, and what we found was that, of course, we partner with lots of different technology providers, and that remains a very central part of our strategy. But when it comes to some of the core aspects that we wanted to bring to clients, we needed to own that. And we needed to own the development, we needed to own the roadmap, and we needed to own the budget that we could put behind that. So it's technology that we built, and it's unifying data into a single view of the consumer for clients. So what I want to do is play a quick video to make that clear.
If you know how to responsibly use it. We do. At GroupM, we believe that media solutions should be as individual as the people they're meant to reach. We are the only media company able to offer personalized consumer relationships at scale, globally. And it's all thanks to M-Platform. The result of a multi-year process of technology and data acquisition, integration and application, and a continuing commitment of more than $100 million annually. It's a wholly owned, customizable and modular solution supported by a dedicated group of analysts, product and media experts, ensuring consistent delivery in all the markets our clients do business. And it is unrivaled because our access to data is unrivaled. We connect WPP-owned data from Woodman and Kantar, undisputed leaders in the world of research and direct marketing, to exclusive data from the otherwise walled gardens of publishers, as well as across all the devices consumers use over the course of their day. The data coming in from all these diverse digital and traditional channels result in something powerful, a unified consumer ID. We call it MPID, and it is the most comprehensive and detailed picture of an individual consumer, offering brands a rich and holistic view into their consumers' minds. We understand who they are, what they value, what they watch, where they browse, and where they shop. We know what they like and dislike, what they might be wanting today and thinking about wanting tomorrow. This gives our people a complete view of the market and can anticipate where a consumer is likely to engage. This means marketeers can consistently reach the right consumers at the right time with media that is addressed to consumers and accountable for brands, all with the simplicity of a user-friendly interface that provides real-time reports for everyone in your organization. And everything is tailored precisely to our agencies and their clients, analyzing and adapting constantly as needs change. M-Platform is the foundation for your marketing advantage, bringing brands and consumers closer than ever before. We believe that if a brand embraces a consumer, the consumer will embrace the brand. And that has to be better for your business. Group M, your advantage.
So hopefully that cleared a few things up and gave an overall perspective of what M-Platform is trying to do. And the thing that when we conceived putting M-Platform together as an organisation and as a suite of technology, we knew that we were solving a fundamental problem that was challenging marketers. And I think it's made clear by this statement here by this guy, Jeff Ramsey, from eMarketer, and he said, look, it's getting harder and harder to connect with consumers. They move around between devices. It's very complex to understand where they are on the consumer journey. So we only pick up sort of fuzzy pictures of these consumers. And obviously what we want is, clear portraits, clear pictures of these users, exactly who they are, what they want to do, and therefore how to communicate with them through our marketing. And it speaks of the challenge we have now in marketing that we're not allowed to treat people in an average way. The average consumer is fiction. Consumers are demanding that we understand that they are individuals and that we can no longer apply these mass reach targeting techniques. And we must understand that within that mass reach there are individuals, and that requires this concept of mass precision marketing. We still want scale, but we need to deliver these individual experiences. And of course, we use data to try and do that. And really, what M-Platform is enabling clients to do, and again, I'll walk you through some examples of this in a moment, but is unearth the audiences that are within those mass targeting techniques. So really trying to go a little bit deeper, and really these audiences have been hiding all of these years. We've been unable to find them and locate them, but now we can through data. I think that's a very exciting sort of prospect. Obviously it's challenging for companies to adapt to that, but certainly a better state to run our marketing from. So really this is the end of the demographic. I think we pretty much all know that. We need to embrace these individuals. And to do that, as the video introduced, we really need to manage a consumer's identity across these devices and the different touch points that they have in the world. And to do that, you need a piece of technology. You need an ID that we can apply to a consumer and that we can therefore build data around. And this ID follows or is attached to these individual consumers, but we build anonymous data points on these consumers. And over time, these data points grow. It's something you have to work at. We don't just build this ID overnight and have a very rich view of our consumer. We have to identify, where we want to get data from, who we want to do deals with, where we can extract data, what data asset clients have. So this is the first step to a consumer-centric strategy. And obviously Marina nicely introduced that, this is the way that many clients are moving. But identity management and being able to use a consistent ID to attach data to is the first step. And obviously that's what M Platform will enable. Now, the MPID, as introduced by the video, is a pretty powerful thing. You know, as I said, it's a consistent ID attached to each user in the digital world, and against this we can start to build information. And obviously this is quite an extensive chart here, but you know, just within WPP alone, we have some fantastic data assets. You know, so we are picking up behavioural data, we are picking up purchase data, we are picking up people's attitudes, their brand loves, location data, what devices they use, etc., etc. And so we're building up these clearer pictures of users. No longer fuzzy, we hope. I wanted to go a little bit deeper on the data assets that we currently are accessing for MPID within M Platform. First, it's worth referencing client data assets. You know, some clients, some advertisers, very data rich, very organised, on Marina's curve, very, very advanced. Some not so much. So we obviously have to adapt to to a client's own situation. But often clients are coming now with their own data management platform, and they've put their own data within these data management platforms, and we connect to those. So this is not about us doing everything, this is about us connecting to an ecosystem that maybe already exists for an advertiser. Clients obviously have CRM, a lot have offline CRM, you know, in the offline world, and we are able to onboard that into a digital world using partners here such as KBM or LiveRamp. And then finally, obviously, advertisers are running a hell of a lot of media. They're buying ads. And you know, understanding how users interact with those ads and are exposed to them is very valuable data as well, so we're onboarding that. Now, when we move into data assets that we're bringing to the party, we have a lot of data assets within the group, and I mentioned, I've alluded to these before. So Kantar would be a fantastic WPP data source, and this is valuable purchase data of what people are purchasing often in store and what people intend to buy and their habits. So, you know, very unique. Not many people are picking up those offline purchase habits and making sense of those in a digital world and enabling us to extract insights against those. Also, partners like Experian or YouGov are very powerful partners to have, and these will extend over time. You know, we'll bring on TGI planning data. So I think it's something that will evolve. We're on a journey with this to build up these data assets against this MPID. And then finally, I've got GroupM there at the bottom. So this is digital behavior. So what we see users do across their digital devices on a daily basis. And this is data that we capture through partnerships with publishers, app owners, etc. And that is data that obviously is real-time and very valuable. It all goes into a central database called MCore. And that is the data store that puts all of this data in one place. Obviously, when it's client data, it's kept separate for that client. Only that client can access it. We apply an MPID to this data, so we understand the users behind it. And then we surface this data in a platform we call M Insights. And this is a user interface that sits on a planner's, media planner's desktop, or indeed anybody's desktop. Could sit on a client's desktop, could sit in a creative agency. And this is accessible, and therefore people can start to use this on a daily basis to really generate insights against these data points for their clients. Now, once you've generated an insight and you've maybe defined an audience, you need to try and buy that. You need to try and target that user, or those groups of users. And again, you know, it's good to see that we're aligned in our thinking, Marina and I, in that she mentioned the need for multiple platforms, and we see that need too. Certainly when you're in the digital space, we need to understand that, you know, certain platforms have access to unique media. Amazon, DoubleClick with YouTube. We partner with AppNexus to access the GroupM supply marketplace, which is a refined group of publishers. And we also work with the trade desk that is strong on accessing the open programmatic ecosystem. So again, a multi-platform strategy when it comes to actually targeting these users in the digital space. The final point on this is, very few companies these days are global. Obviously, I think we can name the big guys that are, but very few can give a consistent picture of a user across all markets in the world. And MPID and M-Platform is live in over 50 plus markets. So we've already scaled this, in a global sense. And I think for clients to generate that consistency globally, especially our global advertisers, that's critical. And that's going to be a game changer as things evolve. So, just to finish up on this introduction to M-Platform, what we're getting to clients towards is this utopia, this desire to have a single view of the user across all devices that enables a consistent definition of an audience and being able to access that across all media. Now, obviously, as media becomes more digital, this becomes more powerful. That said, the insights that M-Platform generate now could still be applied to offline media. It's just we have a break in the chain. You can still generate an insight and apply it in offline media. So we're really getting towards this desire for clients, this single view of the user. Okay, so introduction over. I wanted to take you through now sort of a point around insight and application. So actually how we're using the technology platforms to generate some of the insights. And I've got some screenshots of the platform, so hopefully you can see that, some of you at the back, as we run through this. I'll use the pointer so you can see what I'm talking about as we go through this. So the first thing we do when we take a client from insight towards application is we have to make sure that M-Platform technology is used by the agencies of GroupM. And in the case of Mindshare, we've worked very hard at ensuring that the planners within Mindshare will use M-Platform technology as part of their existing planning process. Now, Mindshare have a very nice, succinct process called the Adaptive Marketing Framework, or AMF for short. And you can see it runs through these 5 steps. So onboarding data, studying that data, serving ads, delivering ads, adapting those messages of those ads to make them more relevant, and then finally measuring the output and adapting again your investment decisions. So they have 5 steps. Very succinct, very effective for clients. And M-Platform technology is used at different parts of that process. So I'm pretty much going to focus on the study and expand section today. But nevertheless, it's important to get usage of this technology within the agencies of GroupM, and Mindshare have done that very nicely within this framework. So some questions that we're going to run through today, and these are a little bit more detailed. Who do we want to target? Often a question that you get at the start of a brief. Who's our target audience? Can we refine that? Can we find these guys at scale? Can we target them with a reasonable scale? Are they different from each other? These audiences that we create. Do we have a unique audience? And then finally, what makes them unique? What are the traits that these audiences have that make them different or make them unique? So I'm going to answer those 5 questions and show you the platform. So without further ado, who do we want to target? So what M-Platform will allow a planner to do is literally go into the user interface here and look at all of the different behaviors that we see users have online. And there's 368 of those behaviors. We then enable a planner to segment that further. So we say, what is the recent behavior of these users? We can then look at the predicted behavior of those users. So what might they do in the future that they've already done in the past? So this is a prediction we're making on the actions of these users. And then finally, we give another view, which is a predicted behavior that they've never displayed in the past. So different ways of looking at the data. And this is all around predictive modeling. So making predictions about what users will be into, as well as seeing their recent behavior. The other thing we do, and I think this is very open of M platform to do this, not many other platforms will do this, is show the confidence levels we have around, the allocations that we've made to these users. So if we've said somebody's into auto, we give a confidence level that that is true. And I don't think many other platforms do that. That's very transparent and open of GroupM to do that. So what that means is that when you're a planner, you've actually got 3,312 segments to start to play with, to start to merge, to start to analyze, to see which ones you can put together to make the best audience for your client. So a significant number of options to really refine our targeting. Now, once we've done that, we move on to the next stage, and we look for more detail on the audiences that we might have created there. And we use this tool called Audience Discovery. Again, part of the same platform. And what that's giving us is demographic data on the audiences, it's giving us device usage, it potentially is giving us location, it's giving us other behaviors that are also have synergy with the audience that we've created. So it's kind of letting us go a little bit deeper, letting us mine a little bit deeper. Now, I wanted to give you an example of this, and this is actually an example from Korea. And I chose this one to sort of exemplify the global nature of this platform. We've got an advertiser here, a global luxury auto advertiser, and they were pretty happy with their definition of an audience, age, gender, education, occupation, income, but it wasn't really that, revealing. They wanted to go deeper. So as part of this pitch, we actually used the platform to go deeper on this. So we chose an action that these users took, and in this case, they went to the virtual showroom, and we said, of the users that went to the virtual showroom, what can M platform tell us about these users? And you see here this visual representation, and what we're seeing here is the different audiences that index highly for users that reach that showroom page. So they're into personal finance, they're into investing, they're into buying and selling cars, obviously, they're into performance vehicles, they're into fashion. That was a new area we didn't know about. So that was the highest indexing audience against people who went to that virtual showroom page. When we look at the predicted behavior, we see that they're into hybrid cars. Again, that's interesting, into hotels. When we look at the predicted new behavior, we see that they're not going to do anything around family and parenting. So it's almost as interesting as to see what they're into as to what they're not into, if you see what I mean. So the platform here is really usable, very easy to get some insights very quickly out of, and obviously we could have run this again and looked at demographics, we could have looked at other data partners, data sources to extract for a client. But what this got us is a very rich view of the user by the time we run a lot of these analysis in the platform. So we not only got the ones that they already had, but we also picked up interest, activities, digital behavior, and their purchases. So really uncovering those hidden audiences within the mass. And this obviously this client was pretty impressed by that. Now, once you've done this, it actually leads on to other areas of consideration. And one of those is around content and creative. Now, I'm a media guy. I think about data in terms of targeting ads. But actually, what we've got with M Platform is a tool that can be used at the start of the process to uncover creative insights as well. And I think, getting hands on this in the creative environment is really going to see its use or see its benefit come to light. So in this example here, we extracted some high indexing segments that showed us that maybe a creative treatment around family or active lifestyle or technology enthusiast was going to be relevant. And that's something that, again, the creative agency can use to be more effective. Okay, so are they targetable at scale? Once we've built this audience, is it targetable at scale? The answer often is no. You know, we build these perfect audiences and then we want to target them, and you know, obviously they're quite niche. So what we use is the technique called lookalike modeling. Hopefully you've heard of this, and ultimately trying to find similar users to the core set of IDs that we've identified in this niche audience. So just trying to expand that audience a little bit more. And at GroupM, what we do is we try and be very open and transparent around the quality of that lookalike model that we've built. Okay, so again, you know, people who build lookalike models, they may just say, yes, we built a lookalike model, here it is. But we want to show clients what that looks like, and is it good, and is it going to, you know, deliver an improvement on their media effectiveness. So I'll walk you through this. So imagine in this scenario we have created this high-end auto audience, this niche, perfect definition of our audience. And in the old days, we would have targeted it by mass media. We'd have just gone demographic target, and we would have targeted it, and represented by the grey line here, we would have picked up some of those niche audiences by accident. You know, would have just happened. And what we have now, because we've built these niche audiences, we've built lookalike models, and we know the IDs we're targeting, we can actually, beg your pardon, going back, we can actually target them with greater accuracy. So we can reach 70% of this audience very quickly, with only using 14% of our data, or 14% of our money, more importantly. So it's 5 times more efficient than the old mass marketing approach. So for these clients that are moving on this digital transformation from mass to niche to a more consumer-centric, this is killer stuff. You know, they can spend 5 times less money to achieve the same result against the audience that they want to hit. So pretty game-changing. And we can not only do it for audiences that we've created, like the car audience I mentioned, but we can also do it for some of our data partner audiences. So we've modelled here a Kantar World Panel segment of people who buy own brand from supermarkets. I hope we have this in Spain, but they're buying non-branded goods from supermarkets. And obviously it's a problem for people like, you know, Unilever, you know, they want to find these people and persuade them to buy the branded Unilever good. So again, we have a situation here where we were actually able to pick up 36% of that own brand audience with just 3% of our data. So 12 times more efficient than the old mass marketing approach. So killer stuff. And when we put all this together, what we have is something very compelling for clients. They can actually see the savings they can make. And this is all of the brands of an FMCG client along the bottom here. And you can see the uplift that we were able to deliver here. Some brands were small, some brands were larger, but nevertheless, on average, we're talking around about a 4x efficiency gain using this lookalike modeling and using this data-driven approach. And this, you know, again, for large advertisers is very compelling, money-saving work. Okay, moving on. So are they different from each other? What we use here is a tool called overlap analysis. So we're looking at an audience that we've built, and we're comparing it to another audience that we know exists. So in this example, we have a beauty brand audience that we've created, and we're comparing it to buyers or intending buyers of all these other beauty brands. And this is data from YouGov. And we can see the overlap between our beauty brand and all of the other beauty brands. And we actually see we're quite distinct in the audience that we've created. So there's not much overlap, which is good. If there was overlap, it might change the way that we ran our campaign. It might alter our scheduling, it might alter our creative treatment. So again, very valuable stuff that we're pulling out here. What makes them different? So once you've understood that you have a difference towards your competitor or another brand in your portfolio, what are the underlying elements that make that difference? And what we're doing here is we're using a tool within the platform, getting the index of audiences against my beauty brand that I want to look at. And I can see that